Welcome back to Whistler Village. I'm your Sea to Sky host, Nicole Fitzgerald, and you're watching The Express. Luxury living. It's something we know all too well in Whistler, surrounded by creeks and mountains and glaciers. In Vancouver, it's about living in the heart of downtown, with neighbors like Stanley Park and the ocean.
Downtown Vancouver, the economic and cultural heart of British Columbia. Surrounded by picturesque mountains, water, and green space, this roughly 2 square kilometers of land ranks among the world's most expensive in terms of property values. Today, we're heading to the ultra-exclusive neighborhood of Cole Harbour, where we'll check out what modest luxury looks like, if modest for you means anything under $5 million.
Tim.
Good to see you again.
Great to see you again. Glad you could make it.
Beautiful building.
You're going to love this. Sky-high living, and this property is on the market for $3.8 million.
Wow. Can't wait to see it.
Let's go check it out.
This is the brainchild of world-renowned architect James Cheng, the mastermind behind Vancouver's Shangri-La Hotel. This stylish 3-bedroom condominium was thoughtfully designed to maximize its 2,500 square feet of living space.
This is the classic floor plan where you've got these massive spaces, huge ceilings, which give you that sense of openness, especially with the surrounding views. It's a beautiful perch to look out at downtown Vancouver.
The kitchen is equipped with Miele appliances and stainless steel countertops, which have become standard in luxury buildings. And the cabinetry is all customized using imported material.
When you're in a condominium, you want to make sure that you use your space effectively, and that's exactly what Snidero of Italy specializes in. So all of your cabinetry is very carefully designed in Italy specifically for the space, and it's solid oak cabinetry that's flown here and fitted. It fits together beautifully.
But being economical with space doesn't mean you have to be economical in the detailing.
So from the entranceway, we have these beautiful Italian tiles, pure wool carpet, and oak banisters that lead upstairs in the massive 20-foot foyer. Check it out, Tim, the master suite.
Great amount of space here.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the big ensuite. Soaker tub, 2-head shower, walk-in glass, and all the limestone.
Back downstairs, the dining room boasts gorgeous views of Burrard Inlet and the Vancouver Convention Center. But the best thing about this executive suite is the patio, with its ample space for you to take in all the sights and sounds of this vibrant city.
It's difficult to find patio space in Vancouver that's of any substantial size, so having 600 square feet with an ocean view is incredibly rare.
Sleek, spacious, and at the center of it all. When you're living the fast-paced urban lifestyle, this is what luxury looks like. I'm your host, Tim Chung, and join me next time on Dream Homes.
The price tag for that condo is $3.9 million. You can learn more by visiting sotheby'srealty.ca. It's a great day to be in the mountains. Ular, the god of snow, has smiled on Whistler favorably all winter long. You can learn a lot from watching nature, like how to save some money on your gas bill.
Well, hello and welcome to the H.R. MacMillan Space Center. I'm Cam Cronin for The Express, and today we're going to talk about an old British dude named Sir Isaac Newton. Now, you may have heard about this guy about 350 odd years ago, but I am going to focus in on Newton's second law of motion. Why am I focusing on Newton's second law of motion? Because I had to fill my car up yesterday and I nearly had a stroke. So what does that have to do with Newton? Well, something very important, because you and I are experiencing that here in North America and all parts of the world, but the space industry is also experiencing this fuel crunch. It costs a lot of money to move things up into space, and that has to do with mass. Now, Newton's second law of motion basically says that the heavier something is, the more force it's going to take to accelerate it. Now, when you talk about accelerating, say, a satellite up into space, filling up that rocket is about $51 million. fuel, the rocket, everything. Every kilogram that you can remove from that is great because it's less weight to move up into space. Something like the space shuttle was something like $500 million to get it ready to fly, and that's because you're removing millions and millions of pounds of equipment into space. So I have two objects here. One is a red ball. The other one is a yellow ball for anybody that might be colorblind. And this one is heavier, and this one is a little lighter. Now, what Newton was talking about was a little test, and we're going to try that right now. We're going to come over here to my handy-dandy high-powered air cannons. And I have, again, a heavy object and a lighter object. I'm going to pop these into my air cannons. The force in this case is going to be exactly the same. So I have the same amount of force behind each object, but I have a heavier one and a lighter one. Now, to relate this to, say, a more everyday situation, this lighter one is a smart car, and this heavier one is a Ford Excursion. Now, if I want to accelerate both of them up to, say, 60 kilometers an hour, or if you're driving in Vancouver, 110, and I want to use exactly the same amount of force. Let's see what would happen if that was the case. So, Raminder, are you okay just staying right there? Okay, good. Okay, all right, we're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and... You good? Okay, so did you see what happened there? The heavier one, our giant truck, did not move very far. Our lighter one, our smart car, moved a great distance. And this is basically a wonderful thing about Newton's second law of motion. The lighter you can make an object, the better result you're going to get with the same amount of force versus a very heavy object. So if you're in the market for buying a new car, or even if you just look in the trunk of your car and realize you're carrying around half of your household in there, remove that weight. Your car is going to be lighter. It's going to take less force to accelerate your car to 60 kilometers an hour, and you're going to end up saving fuel in the long run. For the Express here at the H.R. MacMillan Space Center, I'm Cam Cronin, and a crumpled Raminder Samra over there. Hope you have a good one.
Gravity. It's the driving force behind everything we do here in Whistler. The Express, you'll only find it on Shaw TV, and we've got more community stories coming your way.
I know enough.
After the break, a look at the arts.
I know what I won't accept.
Welcome back to the Express on Shaw TV. I'm your Sea to Sky host, Nicole Fitzgerald. The snow just keeps coming here in Whistler. There's so many ways to play in it. Skiing, snowmobiling, ziplining. Metro Vancouver host Johanna Ward has a different kind of play in mind. We find her again at the theatre department at UBC. So, Johanna, have you had a chance to score a role in one of those plays?
No, thank you. I'm happy in the audience, especially at a festival like this one with all hands on deck and 26 years of experience.
Back then, you could only pee all over the toilet seat. Now, you can pee all the way to the floor.
Just like marking your territory.
The only sort of thing is it has to be short. It has to be 15 minutes. And other than that, it can be anything.
They're funny, they're sad, they're provocative.
The Brave New Playwrights Festival brings together UBC playwriting, directing, design, and acting students to produce new plays.
Tell me again what was wrong with our old bed.
Our old bed was tainted.
Right. Like with other people's bodily fluids.
I meant with memories.
The two plays rehearsing today, of the over a dozen being produced, both deal with personal relationships.
I think they're lovely little slices of sort of the things that people think about.
So what exactly happened last night?
I laughed.
You laughed?
Shh. We'll know these people. These are characters that you're like, yeah, I've got a friend just like that, or I've had a conversation a bit similar to this.
That's not why you laughed. You actually said it was small.
It was small. When we were 4.
Brian Wade, the founder of the festival, has 26 years' experience with this process and understands the real-life story arc for the students involved.
In this time in terms of rehearsals, and we go through like a whole 2 months of workshopping the plays, and you sort of think, well, are they any good?
The picture says there should be 3 holes in the beams, but there's 2.
You look so hot.
Focus. If we don't figure this out, we won't have a bed to sleep in.
And then you get there, and you have the actors, you have the lights, and it's amazing.
In the meantime, the acting duo in Little Roundy Things is making do with a shoe as a hammer, chairs as bedposts, and invisible screws.
It's a lot of fun. Working with new material is really good too.
Another benefit?
The instructors, and they help you as well, so you get to deal with all these different levels.
Everybody's very open-minded because they're all kind of just a bunch of, fresh palettes to paint on.
Yeah.
Megan Gilron, a fourth-year production and design student, is directing Window Parade.
It's feeling really, really good. My actors seem to really be bonding well, which is important for my play because of the content in it. It's a little bit about male and female sexuality and their relationships and how that all comes together.
And yes, all men feel this way. And I know the logical contradictions this presupposes. But why couldn't you have just lied to me like all women do?
The title of the festival, Brave New Playwrights, is a play on words in honor of the experience for all of the students involved.
It's really an exciting sort of new thing, and it is scary to see your words sort of put into someone else's mouth and acted out in front of people.
You're sort of like learning how to swim, right? You jump in, and that's sort of the whole idea for these students, right? Is like some of them have never written a play before, right? Have never been in the theater, so it's sort of it is a rite of passage in a lot of ways.
From the UBC Theater Department, I'm Johanna Ward for The Express.
The festival runs from March 28th to April 1st at the UBC Point Grey campus. Tickets are either $10 or $15. A staged reading is by donation on March 31st. Other things to do, the Express Spotlight helps fill up that social calendar of yours. Performance art, culinary showcases, and musicians come together for a celebration of artistic expression at Mountains of Art in Pemberton, one of Spud Valley's signature events of the year. A night of comedic drama awaits. A group of 3 Jewish women who call themselves the Cemetery Club try to cope with single life in Pittsburgh through this hilarious play staged by Between Shifts Theatre in Squamish. Do you remember cable bindings? Frank Salter does. He will visually share the history of skiing through his collection of 500 skis and bindings. This is part of the Whistler Museum's monthly speaker series. Tickets are $7. I've personally seen Frank's ski collection. It's absolutely amazing. You don't want to miss that event at the Whistler Museum. And that wraps up this week's show in Whistler Village, the land of everything snow and sliding. If you'd like to see more of our stories, visit shawtv.com. From all of us on The Express, thanks for watching, and we'll leave you with a look at the arts.
I believe this man is creating or has already brought about an improper relationship with your son.
I don't know.
I know I'm right.
Why you need to know something like that for sure when you don't? Please, sister, you got some kind of righteous cause going with this priest, and now you want to drag my boy into it? My son doesn't need additional difficulties. Let him take the good and leave the rest when he leaves this place in June. He knows how to do that. I taught him how to do that.
What kind of mother are you?
Excuse me, but you don't know enough about life to say a thing like that, sister.
I know enough.
You know the rules, maybe, but that don't cover it.
I know what I won't accept.
You accept what you gotta accept, and you work with it. That's the truth, I know. I'm sorry to be so sharp, but you're in here in this room.
This man is in my school.
Well, he's got to be somewhere. And maybe he's doing some good, too. You ever think of that?
He's after the boys.
Well, maybe some of them boys want to get caught.